Cruise news time. Well, man, I love it when the clouds of despair part, especially on a Monday morning, and rays of optimism get sprinkled on our heads. Could cruises happen from the United States by midsummer, by mid-July? Could Alaska cruising still happen? Well, one of the bigwigs in the cruise industry, he says maybe yes. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news. Well, just out this morning, we have a new message from the CEO of the Royal Caribbean Group, Richard Fain. Richard Fain, one of the triumvirate of leaders that are leading the charge for the restart of cruising here in the U.S. Of course, Royal Caribbean Group, a huge cruise business. And the other two that I'm talking about, of course, Arnold Donald from Carnival Corporation and Frank Del Rio from NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. When I think about the leadership of the cruise business, these are the three guys that I think about. And Richard Fain has been a constant, steady voice during this whole pandemic, releasing videos, sometimes weekly, to travel advisors, trying to keep people up to date with what is going on. But now Richard is here to recap what's going on in cruising. And I tell you what, it's a 4-minute message, but it's a super positive message. I'm going to play it, comment along with it, call out some highlights. But cruise fans, if you've been in despair, let Richard's words wash over you and give you back some of that hope. And as I get my headphones ready to listen to what Richard Fain has to say, let me take a quick moment to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on all these episodes. Thank you in advance.
Hello again to all of our travel advisor friends. We here in Groundhog Day at the Royal Caribbean Group send our very best wishes. For over a year, I've been making general and circumspect comments about the situation we face. Recently, however, the pace of progress has accelerated, and I thought it might be helpful if I presented my perspective on the current state of play all in one place, rather than the confusing set of random bits that we've all been seeing. A few things have happened to precipitate this change. You all know about the changes in the science, the vaccines, the testing, and the contact tracing. They've all dramatically improved, and that improvement has driven a fresh look at the state of affairs. Add in the arrangements we're making with the local communities to deal with an incident if it occurs, and you have a dramatically improved situation. We are also seeing a change in the mood in the country. While cases are seeing an uptick recently, the longer-term trend has been very encouraging, and that has driven a mood to gradually open up our society. The other important change is that we now have data from operations around the world. Over 400,000 people have taken cruises. That successful experience has not only given us comfort about the safety of cruising, it has given us data to discuss with the CDC and other health authorities. Based on that data, over 30 countries have already granted permission for cruising, and we're...
All right, let me stop right there. So this is super important, and this is really kind of my mind shift lately. Notice Richard Fain's message is apolitical. It is very cooperative, and it is data driven. This is where we need to get to for anybody who opposes cruising, whether it be somebody from the government, whether it be somebody from our neighborhood, whether it be some random person on social media. The case that we need to be making to our representatives when we reach out to them is that cruising is safe. This is the point that we need to be making. This is the point that we need to be fighting for, that cruising is safe, because at the end of the day, that really is the question. Is cruising safe or is cruising not safe? And what does the data point to? What does the data here in 2021 point to? And like Mr. Fain said, 400,000 cruises, 30 health agencies across the globe signing off on cruising's protocol. Is cruising safe? It's more important than any other conversation. This is where the cruise lines are trying to work with the CDC to answer that question, to prove to the CDC CDC, is cruising safe? So really, that's what I've been focusing on a lot lately. If you can demonstrate that cruising is safe, then cruising should be allowed to go forth. That's the tact that the cruise industry is taking. Back to you, Richard Fain.
Optimistic that the CDC will too. You have also helped. Your voice and the voices of so many small businesses across America have demonstrated that there is a strong desire to see cruising treated like so many other businesses and allowed to operate under safe guidelines. That loud voice has been clear, and it seems to be being heard in Washington and in Atlanta. Based on the advances in science and the data provided by our experiences abroad, the CDC is engaging in a constructive dialogue with us in the industry to enable a return to service in a safe and healthy manner. It is obvious that sharing data, information, and viewpoints drives a better result for everyone, and we're pleased to have the opportunity to do that. We're also pleased that the science and the data have advanced so far in just a few months. The CDC has publicly stated that this could enable cruising to restart as early as mid-July. We agree with that assessment, and we're more optimistic than ever that a realistic path forward can be achieved in that time frame. That would enable a summer season in Alaska and elsewhere.
So that's huge. I mean, that's probably the most direct I've ever heard Richard Fain say that he feels like the summer season could actually happen. We heard about it last week, the conversation between the CDC and the cruise business. Information coming out of that meeting is that it's positive. And Richard Fain here, based on what he's been dealing with the CDC and the recent conversations, he believes that it's a reasonable time frame. That is huge news. That is huge, exciting news. And it would be easy, I think, at this point just to let Alaska go. I mean, Alaska is slipping away just a few more days before anything really concrete can happen for Alaska. And here we have the leader of Royal Caribbean, one of the largest cruise organizations in the world, saying that Alaska is not done yet for the summer season of 2021. That's exciting news. That is very, very exciting news.
The final decisions are up to the CDC, as they should be. And I caution you that we can't prejudge their decisions. Nevertheless, the science today is clear. Our willingness to do what it takes to protect our guests, our crew, and the community we serve is strong. And the new leadership seems ready to have the kind of dialogue that could lead to a constructive outcome. So what can you as travel advisors do? It turns out there's a lot you can do. Getting the word out is important. Letting your clients know that cruising is restarting. Already outside the U.S. and hopefully soon here as well. Letting Washington know that you care is important too. We need them to know.
Let me jump in right there. The other thing that came out of that meeting last week was a recognition that the movement put forth by CLIA to gather up people's feedback and send it off to representatives in Washington, having a positive effect. Let me just make that call to action again right now. I will again put the link to the CLIA Action Center in the first comment or in the pinned comment. If I change the pinned comment, I'll make sure that I put that link somewhere in that thread. You can go there, you tell them where you're from, you write your message about cruising, and they will send it to the appropriate representatives. It's exciting times for cruisers who really do need some leadership as we try to help get cruising restarted. And Richard Fain is offering us a path. Him and his counterparts will continue to do his part to work with the CDC, and he's telling us that our part is to continue to reach out and let people know that we love cruising. Do that through the Action Center. It is legit becoming a movement that's getting things done, and so make sure that your voice is heard in that.
This matters. We need them to know that small businesses across the country are hurting and that they need the economic driver that cruising represents. We need them to know that millions of Americans are desperate to get out of their isolation and back to safe and healthy cruising. You can also get the word out to act responsibly. The pandemic is not over. As eager as we all are to move on, we can't let our guard down in this last stretch. The consequences of the disease are getting better, but that improvement has slowed and is in danger of getting worse if we get complacent. The variants are a real threat. We can overcome that threat, but each of us needs to be part of the solution, getting vaccinated, wearing our masks, etc. In sum, things are decidedly looking up. Our dialogue with the CDC has improved significantly, and the data we have obtained from sailings abroad is driving.
It's worth pausing there. Again, you have to make some sort of judgment whether you believe Richard Fain or not believe Richard Fain. I choose to believe him. He's not given me any reason to distrust him, and he just said that the dialogue with the CDC is getting better. So I will take that. I will take that as a point of a reason to be hopeful and to be optimistic. I got to quit interrupting them. Here we go.
He's confident. As the old adage says, there's many a slip twixt cup and lip, but we're getting closer every day. And don't forget to wear your mask and to wash your hands.
So just to recap that brief message by Richard Fain, the big point is that summer 2021, mid-July cruises from the United States still on the table. The CDC says that publicly. The cruise lines, based on the interaction they've had with the CDC over the last few weeks, also feel optimistic for those dates, and it's getting better according to Richard Fain. Boom, that's your cruise news. What do you think? Will we see cruises from the United States midsummer? Interesting times. I'm excited. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Please share your support by hitting the like button. This is Tony with Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.